Have you ever volunteered to pick up trash, read a story at a library, or stood outside a store raising money for a group you believe in? Statistics tell us that nearly every person in America has been involved with volunteering at some point in their life. Our goal today is to take a moment and try to figure out how organizations can effectively recruit volunteers to their mission. To do that, we're going to explore the nature of who volunteers, when they volunteer, and how organizations can use strategic processes to maximize recruiting. Using examples from our text, I hope to increase your knowledge of how recruitment can drive nonprofit success. When you think back on why you volunteered, what were your motivations? The key tenet here is that some motivation for volunteerism always exists. And the motivation is not always about people simply being monetarily motivated. Often the motivation lies in one of 6 values which are shared amongst all volunteers. To help others, simply that people inherently desire to help and make a difference. To be involved in their community, to strengthen their sense of contributing to the well-being of everyone around them. To contribute to a cause, to serve to solve a problem which they personally believe in. To develop new skills, to leverage service as a means to gain new knowledge, to use their existing skills, to create value by applying their skills to benefit others, and to stay fit, to ensure an ongoing active lifestyle. Volunteers get involved to achieve something which is not monetarily achievable alone. Each motivation provides a sense of value to the volunteer and is inherent psychological well-being of the person. Each motivation also has a tangible and real sense of success. If a person engages in volunteerism, they ultimately hope to achieve some greater good. The second important concept to understanding volunteer recruitment is in how the size and nature of an organization can shape recruitment. Smaller nonprofits can often recruit more effectively to their needs because they can offer a more personalized experience. Yet a larger organization can provide a more well-defined volunteer experience and spread its needs across a larger base of volunteers. Smaller organizations often need more from their volunteers, which lead to both greater commitment, but also much more burden on the volunteer. Think of where you have volunteered personally, and the concept of organizational impact is more easily seen. A small community cleanup effort will need more from all of its volunteers, but they also will be more intimately connected. In comparison, a large county-wide cleanup may be less personally connected with its volunteers. This is an important idea. We'll return to that in the application and how it affects Ventura County directly. The third key concept that we want to understand is that volunteer recruitment is as much a strategic component for nonprofit organizations as financial and goal planning is. To accomplish this, the organization should conduct a needs assessment for volunteers. This process allows the organization to fully understand both the direct and indirect service needs, which will allow it to accomplish its mission. The idea of direct and indirect service needs is important because each organization has needs which are of direct benefit to those it's serving, as well as indirect needs which allow the volunteers to achieve their goals. The easy way to grasp this is to think about the person who rakes the leaves at an event is a direct need, and the person bringing the rake to the event is an indirect need. This is important because needs assessment ensures that when volunteers are being recruited based on the needs rather than just to acquire volunteers. The needs assessment is also very important in allowing for success to permeate throughout volunteer recruitment. If an organization understands its needs and recruits people to suit those needs based on the motivations discussed earlier, then the volunteer is set up for the greatest amount of success. Finally, let's talk about the most powerful recruiting technique of all, word of mouth. Think about it. When you volunteered, did you do it alone or with friends? Did someone tell you about the value your time would bring to people? Or did you do research and pick out a specific cause? As we discussed in the motivations, word of mouth plays directly into this concept because the most passionate promoters are those who are already involved in volunteering. Word of mouth can transform cultures where we simply do it because we enjoy it to cultures where volunteers recruit new volunteers to provide them with the same enriching values they are receiving. Friends and family alike share positive experiences, and leveraging this to your advantage in recruiting is the single most powerful tool at your disposal. Application of these building blocks is equally important, and to demonstrate this, I want to review the Coastal Cleanup Day, which is held each year. To consider the cleanup day as unsuccessful would be far from correct. It's been occurring for 33 years, and more than 3,000 volunteers come out on that day to clean coastal areas of Ventura County. But at least two of the major building blocks is lacking in its recruitment. The first is that its needs assessment is not part of its process from the initial interest of a volunteer. In fact, their public website does not even contain a sign-up or enrollment form to express interest in volunteering. This means that a majority of volunteers are showing up on the day of the event, and only to serve direct needs. The error in this in recruiting is that many volunteers are potentially going untapped in other ways that could serve the mission in the days before and after the actual event. Volunteers could help in marketing, promoting the message, building word of mouth, or sharing their experiences. All of these are examples of forms of indirect services which are likely going untapped because the majority of the volunteers are going unassessed. The second is the organization's social media presence. If more than 3,000 people are participating annually, then why is the world's largest social media platform, Facebook, have followers or likes by only 880 people? Social media is the newest form of word of mouth because it engages people into passionately sharing their commitment to the cause with friends and family. This reflects that the mission does lack some sense of creating a diligent word of mouth campaign. While 3,000 volunteers is certainly good, it could potentially be even larger with a greater social media presence. During this presentation, we focused on 4 key areas: who volunteers, how the organization structure affects volunteerism, the importance of needs assessment, and finally, how word of mouth can transform a brand. Each of these building blocks allow an organization to transform individual passion towards the mission to a culture of volunteerism. Understanding volunteer recruitment strategies can unlock this culture change. Remember that Rome was not built in a day, and neither are volunteers. Word of mouth is your most powerful weapon, and fitting people into roles where success is achievable enhances the personal motivations that draws a person to volunteer. People want to change the world and to be important. We just need to make sure we put them into the right opportunities to accomplish that. Thank you.